Hey, this is Todd Harrold. I'm here for another drum lesson. We're going to talk about a lick that comes from Max Roach today, and it involves the whole kit. It's a great drum fill lick that you can use in all sorts of different ways, and I've heard all sorts of different drummers use it. In particular, John Bonham and Steve Gadd. Now, you're going to recognize this as a Bonham thing if you're into Led Zeppelin at all, but originally, for a lot of us at least, I think it probably comes from somebody else, but for a lot of us, it comes from a Max Roach album called Drums Unlimited. Came out in 1966. And the lick that we're talking about comes from a drum solo that he did on that record called For Big Sid. There are several great drum solos on there, and he works around a theme on all these drum solos. So he's actually he'll play like his own little melody, and then he'll improvise around that and then come back to the melody, which is a pretty novel concept, and it adds a great depth to his playing that most drummers don't think about. A lot of drum solos you hear, it's just like, oh yeah, this idea too. Oh yeah, now let's change tempos and play another idea that's unrelated to that one. This was working from a theme. Brilliant drummer, Max Roach, of course, one of the greats of all time. So let's play a sextuplet so we know what a sextuplet is first. A sextuplet is going to be like a double time triplet, sort of, with a triplet on the downbeat and a triplet on the and. One and a, and a. One and a, and a. Now, we're just going to use the first 4 beats of that. So we're going to go one and a, and. Triplet and. Triplet and. And that's the way I refer to this lick, is the triplet and. Like, you know the Herta that Billy Cobham and Carter Beauford play. Or the bluzda that's associated with Tony Williams. This I think of as the triplet and. I don't think it really has a name, but we're going to think of it as triplet and. So if we're thinking about triplet and, we're going to move everything around so we play that so that it goes right, left, right foot. Right, left, right foot. Okay? Right, left, right foot. That's your triplet and. Now let's do that in time. We'll play a couple of things. We'll play a measure of just those on the downbeats. That's what we'll do now. Okay, so you see how those work. Now I'm going to play the original For Big Sid. I would think of it as like the theme, the head, the melody, however you want to put it. As, like I say, he worked from a theme. So the thing that it originally came from was the For Big Sid thing. So this is the original Max Roach For Big Sid theme from his solo that everybody was so influenced by. And I'm sure it probably didn't come from Max Roach. Maybe it came from Sid Catlett. That's who the For Big Sid was about. I'm not sure, but I originally heard it, and so many other drummers heard it on this drum solo by Max Roach called For Big Sid. So here's the theme from For Big Sid that he builds this off of. Okay, so we got the For Big Sid. Now you can use this. You can use this lick. Let's do this like this. Let's say one of the things that you'll see Carter Beauford or Billy Cobham do, or a lot of drummers, Dennis Chambers did this a lot, where what they would do was they would play in. If you've got 16 beats, let's say we're playing 16th notes. The 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Now we're going to utilize every 3 beats. So you've got 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. Is that right? 3, 3, 3, 3, 2? Is that right? That's not right. That's 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. That's 16. Yes, I went to college. 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. We'll just leave that in there. So if we're thinking 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've heard that. You know, a lot of drummers do that. So they do fills where you've got 4 groups of 3 and a group of 4. That's 16, which took me a second to figure out, but there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, ba da da da. 1, 2, 3, 4, ba da da da. Now we're going to do that, and instead of just accenting the downbeats, we're going to put one of those triplet ands on all those downbeats, on all the accented beats rather. like that. So here's that. Here's that. So you can use something that is a metric modulation that's against the beat, and it still comes out even if you play the 16th notes for E and A. Okay, so here's that. Now we're going to work on using it as a fill where you utilize that, and we're going to do it one step at a time. So we're going to start with the triplet and, right? And let's say instead of that, let's add something that was an innovation that people started using in the 1970s, I may be inaccurate on that. It's hard to tell where things begin. We talked about that a little bit on our barks, hi-hat barks video. It's hard to tell where things begin, but you can tell where they became popular. And I think that this sort of became popular in the 1970s, is the idea of putting the triplet on the first. So you've got your sextuplet, you're using the first 4 beats of the sextuplet, right? And instead of going triplet and, you do a 16th note, triplet and a, triplet and a, okay? And then after that, we're going to do, so we're going to do triplet and triplet and okay? So we got 2 of those, triplet and triplet and then there's this nutty triplet, an actual triplet that we're going to play just on the bass drum. So triplet and triplet and now you have to make sure that you're playing anda, like 16th note anda, triplet anda. So you can work on it like this, 1 and 2 and then add that instead, because you don't want it to sound like it'll slop up. It'll get sloppy if you don't work on your anda. And so after those, what we're going to do is, so on the first 2 beats of this fill, we're going to do triplet and then we've got the triplet by itself on the bass drum. Triplet 4, triplet and triplet triplet 4. Now that's a good fill. You can use that. That's a fun one. And it ends with that big flam that you gotta like. You gotta like that. Drummers love, anytime you can just give them a big old, that kind of thing. Like, Phil Collins on In the Air Tonight. Everybody wants to play that drum fill along with Phil, and it's flams, man. Flams are badass, aren't they? Flams are the greatest thing. So this ends with a big old flam on the end. So triplet and like that. And I'll show you a few of those. So what we're looking at is variations on how to use this. Now, that's a couple of them, and I can show you a couple more on the way out, and that's what we'll do. But what we've got is the dreaded triplet and fill. You're going to hear it all over Led Zeppelin records. It's actually on Stairway to Heaven when the drums come in, and right around "And as we wind on down the road," that part, he's got he's got one of those in there. He's got triplet and the way we talked about it. It's in there if you check it out. It's in there. It's in lots of places. If you listen for it, you'll hear it, and that way it'll be another part of your vocabulary. And I hope that you can use that, and I hope you've had a great time. Now get to work on your triplet and. Thanks.